The Federal Reserve just released a report. Buried inside that number is something that generally stopped me. 10% of American households right now, that's 1 in 10, don't have enough food to eat. Let that sink in for a second. That's not a number that is from a recession. That's not a number from the Great Depression. That is a number that is actually from February 2026. And here's the part that actually should make your stomach drop because it did mine. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic and the height of everything being crazy, the number was only 4%. Okay, so the number has more than quietly doubled, and it's a conversation that almost nobody is having at all. So before you click away and think, okay, it's just another economic doom and gloom video, let me tell you, just give me a couple minutes because this report actually reveals a lot about what's happening, and it's not just about food. It's about what's happening to the financial foundation that's underneath millions of American families right now. And I think that most people don't have any idea how fast this is actually moving. This is something that we all need to pay attention to. So, the report comes from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It's not necessarily a political organization, right? This is technically an advocacy group, and they are really mostly data driven about financial institution issues in the country. So the word they actually used to describe this was remarkable. So when the Fed calls something remarkable, it actually kind of means something because they don't like saying anything too crazy. So let's actually look at what they found because the food insecurity number is really just the headline here. So more than 1/3 of respondents said, and keep in mind, a third. So there are over 33% of the people who responded said that they use their personal savings to cover basic expenses, not for investments, extra money, like their actual savings, right? So in 2020, the number was 21.8%. So that's a huge jump, more than 10% over the last 5 years. Think about what this means. This is people who actually had a financial cushion and now the cushion is gone. And this is happening to where if it's not gone, it's going pretty fast. So here's what I want you to notice about this because a lot of people are being affected. It's not isolated though. This isn't one community or one income group. This increase happened across race, across age, across background and education. The Fed actually used the term broad-based. And it's important to realize that these increases, they're larger, obviously. It tends to work this way for lower income families and non-white families or families with children. And this is spreading though. They're the hardest hit. So, if it's a family with kids who has lower income and really had no savings, well, they're the ones that are having the hardest time right now trying to put food on the table. But here's what's the problem and what I keep coming back to is how did we actually get here? Because yes, those people are having more problems and you expect that, but it's growing and it's even more people. And supposedly back in 2020, when we hit rock bottom, when there was a pandemic and shutdowns and mass unemployment, food insecurity was actually at 4%. So yes, the government was helping. We had assistance programs and stimulus checks, and there was the enhanced unemployment, and all of that stuff worked to keep people afloat. But now those people don't have any of that and they're struggling and they're getting caught up in all of this. So now, fast forward to 2026 here, and there are no emergency programs. There's no stimulus. Inflation has just eroded years of savings, years of purchasing power. Grocery prices now are still dramatically higher than they were just 5 years ago. And top of it all, incomes have not kept pace to help with any of this. The safety nets are gone, the prices have stayed high, and the savings people use to bridge these gaps are now depleted. This is what a financial hollowing out looks like, and it doesn't happen all at once. It happens month by month, withdrawal by withdrawal, until one day the family opens the fridge and there just isn't enough food left. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have some kind of policy idea or some way to solve all of this. That's a much bigger conversation and more than I can do. But I will say this, the fact that this report exists, the fact that the data is just so stark and the fact that most people that I talk to have no idea that this is happening, it actually matters. Nobody can solve these problems if we're not talking about it. So we need to start talking about it. So be sure to share this video, send it to somebody you know, start the conversation. And if you want to hear more information like this, be sure to subscribe, like if you like this. And if you want to stay up to date, this is the place to do it. I'm going to try keeping up on all of this because there's so much going on. All right. Until next time, have a great day. And remember, think differently, take control, be a renegade.